Greetings, my name is Chris Zirkle. I'm a digital learning coordinator for the Wake County Public School System. I want to share with you kind of a little bit of the background of what I'm doing in this course I'm developing, so that way you'll understand a little bit more clearly what the mastery checks I'm doing are and the practice students or participants will be doing and how it all ties together. So the big picture is I produce podcast episodes as part of what I do at work. I train students and teachers, staff members on how to podcast, but I do so in what I call the podcast challenge. So it's an experience that I can bring to a school, to students, to the classroom. It can be done synchronously or asynchronously through video, through the Modern Classroom Project format, into a Canvas course, which I'm going to show you is how I'm delivering everything. And so during this podcast challenge, they work together as a crew to plan, record, edit, and then produce one podcast episode. And during that process, they're learning everything that they need to in order for them to be able to not only podcast themselves, but be able to, let's say, train their students how to podcast using all the tech, how to edit, record, things like that, and then be able to actually manage and schedule actual podcast seasons, which would be the ultimate goal, that they would then go on to continue the podcast and be able to handle the actual scheduling and production of podcasts at a larger scale. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I'm going to show you the course I have here. Let's go ahead and dive in and take a look. So because our district uses a learning management system that is protected underneath our login, I can't actually share any links or have any of you go in and see it. So that's kind of why I'm making a quick video, just so you can lay eyes on what I'm doing. I really would like your feedback. This is something I'm implementing to my entire district, and so I really would like some feedback. So here we go. The podcast challenge, I explained what it is, which I gave you a brief little intro at the beginning of this video, what it is. It's this experience where they're going to learn the whole process. Here are the 5 modules. They can read what each module is about. They can click on that, and they can't go to the module until they unlock it. So right now, all they can access is module 1, which is, for the sake of this course in this video, is what we're talking about. The first lesson, they're going to basically learn the podcast anatomy, is what they call it. What's the name of the show? Description of the show. What is the format of the show? The artwork of the show. Those are the main things that we cover as far as the content. Some vocabulary as well in the first lesson. So let me go ahead and show you what the lesson looks like. So when they come in, the first thing to do, here are all the lessons in the module. Down here where you can see I have the practice. That's where they'll practice after they get the content. The content is chunked. It looks like a lot, but it's not. It's very small content. It's just chunked out. And then they'll go through and do the mastery check at the end, which I'll show you as well. So let me just show you 1 or 2 lessons. So when they click into the first lesson, it then just goes sequentially from there. What is podcasting? Then they go to next, and it just takes them through each kind of lesson or chunk of the lesson. So I'll go ahead and click out of modules. As they go through all the formats, let me just show you one for example. They're going to read what the format is and kind of a description of it. They'll look at the pros and cons of the format. Then they'll actually be able to click onto a podcast show that is student friendly and listen to a podcast sample for each format, so they can help determine what their format is. That's the content. When it comes to the practice, down here in the practices are going to be in a discussion format. So they're going to have directions. So here are the directions, and here are all the documents they're going to use. These are planning documents that they use to determine what's the name and the description and the artwork, and they go through and they select their format, and they're writing all these documents out that they save in the Google Drive folder that they share with me. I'll have access to the documents. I'll go into the documents and I'll give my feedback inside the Google Documents. Directions for submission: they can do video submissions, they can also just do textual submissions to this discussion post so the whole class can benefit from hearing the response. I have the must do, which is they must just reply and talk about what their concept of their podcast is, and a should do would be go ahead and get into the anatomy with the rest of the class and hopefully spur a discussion. So that's a look at the practice that they have. Then when I come back to the modules here and I click on down to the bottom here, the mastery check. As far as the mastery check, there's an explanation of how they're going to be able to successfully complete the mastery check, what they should be able to do. And really there's not really any wrong answer here, because they're just saying what the name of their show is. They're giving a description of their show. Yes, there is a little bit of some matching of vocabulary. This mixes up each time for each student just to demonstrate they have the basic kind of foundational language that we want to be able to use amongst each other in our conversation, and they're going to upload their artwork. So that's one of the benefits of using quizzes, is the ability to answer these questions in a variety of formats of types of questions, and also to upload the actual artwork, which I'll have access through here. And I'll go through and I'll manually go through and check each of these as they come in through the course. So that's a look at our big picture of what the podcast challenge is. Really, we want whether you're a staff member, admin, student, to be able to know everything you need to know about podcasting is foundational knowledge before we get into planning our episodes and recording and editing and all the tech and the actual production of it. So hope you can offer me some insight, some feedback. Appreciate your time. This is a little bit long, but thank you. Have a good day.